It's a Spotify podcast. You pushed me down, thought I'd stay on the ground, counting me. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Rabbit Holes, the deep dive. All right, here we go. Imagine you wake up tomorrow morning, only it isn't tomorrow. It's 50 years from now. The year is 2075. Your bedroom slowly brightens before your eyes open. Not because someone flipped a switch, but because your home already knows your sleep cycle is ending. The room has become quietly monitoring the temperature all night, adjusting humidity, filtering the air, reducing outside noise while you sleep. Not because someone flipped a switch, but because your home already knows your sleep cycle is ending. The room has been quietly monitoring the temperature all night, adjusting humidity, filtering the air, reducing outside noise. While you slept, your health monitor tracked your heartbeat, your breathing, your blood chemistry, your stress levels, perhaps even the earliest signs of disease, before your feet ever touch the floor. And artificial intelligence has already prepared your schedule. It knows today's weather, traffic, your family's appointments, the condition of electrical grids, which meetings can be handled virtually, which require you to travel, which tasks should be postponed because another AI is still finishing its research. Before your feet touch the floor, and artificial intelligence has already prepared your schedule. It knows today's weather, traffic, your family's appointments, the conditions of the electrical grid, which meetings can be handled virtually, which require you to travel, which tasks should be postponed because another AI is still finishing its research. Breakfast isn't simply food. It's personalized nutrition, designed around your genetics, your metabolism, your recent activity, your long-term health goals. Some ingredients were grown to vertical farms. Others produced through precision. Strike that. Some ingredients were grown in vertical farms. Others were produced through precision fermentations. Some came from traditional agriculture. Some didn't. Outside, the streets look strangely familiar. Cars still exist. Schools still exist. Hospitals still exist. Government still exists. Families still exist. Cities still exist. Almost everything looks normal, and yet almost everything works differently. Robots quietly repair roads before potholes appear. Construction sites operate day and night. Doctors spend less time searching for diagnosis and more time helping patients understand them. Teachers no longer compete with unlimited information. Instead, they teach something information alone never could: judgment, critical thinking, wisdom. Factories still manufacture products, but many no longer resemble the factories of today. Warehouses hum with autonomous machines. Ports unload ships around the clock. Warehouses hum with autonomous machines. Ports unload ships around the clock. Artificial intelligence coordinates supply chains spanning continents. Electricity flows from network of solar farms, advanced nuclear reactions, massive batteries, and perhaps technologies that haven't even been invented yet. Some diseases that terrified previous generations are now manageable. Others remain unsolved. Life expectancy has increased, but perhaps more importantly, Healthy life expectancy has increased. People aren't simply living longer, many are living better. Some continue workers into their 80s, not because they have to, because they still can. Children grow up with AI tutors. Scientists collaborate with machines capable of reading millions of research papers. Artists create alongside algorithms. Engineers design materials that never existed in nature. Farmers manage crops from satellites and autonomous tractors. Astronauts, or perhaps industrial workers, travel regularly beyond Earth's atmosphere. And yet, despite all of this, the biggest question isn't technological, it's human. Who succeeds in this world? Is it the richest, the strongest, the smartest, the most educated? History suggests probably not, because history has a remarkable habit. Every generation believes the future belongs to the people who best understand today's technology. Then tomorrow arrives and rewards people who learn something much more important: how to adapt. Think about your own lifetime. Many people reading this remember life before smartphones, before social media, before GPS, before online banking, before streaming, before artificial intelligence entered everyday conversation. None of those technologies simply added new conveniences. They changed behavior, business, education, relationships, politics, entertainment, even the way we think. Now imagine not one revolution, but 10. Artificial intelligence, robotics, biotechnology, gene editing, longevity science, brain-computer interfaces, quantum computing, space industrialization, advanced energy, synthetic biology, each accelerating the others, each creating new possibilities, each introducing new risks. For most of history, technological revolutions happened one at a time. Agriculture, then industry, then electricity, then computing. Today, they're beginning to happen simultaneously, not as separate waves, but as one enormous tide. And that's why almost every prediction about the future has been wrong. Experts once insisted airplanes would never fly. Computers would never become personal. The internet would remain a curiosity. Mobile phones would be unnecessary. Artificial intelligence was centuries away. At the same time, they confidently predicted flying cars, robot servants, cities on the moon, nuclear-powered neighborhoods. Some predictions came true. Most didn't. Not because the experts were foolish, because the future refuses to arrive in straight lines. Technologies collide, merge, reinforce one another, and create possibilities that nobody predicted. That's why this episode isn't about forecasting the future. It's about preparing for it. Because the defining challenge of the next 50 years may not be surviving technological change. It may be adapting faster than technological change itself. So tonight, we're not asking what inventions are coming next. We're asking something much deeper. What kind of human thrives when humanity itself begins to change? Welcome to Rabbit Hole's Deep Dive. The future doesn't arrive, all at once anyway. It never has. When people talk about the future, they often imagine one invention changing everything. The steam engine, electricity, automobile, the internet, artificial intelligence. But history tells a different story. Civilizations rarely change because of the breakthrough. They change because breakthroughs begin colliding with one another. Imagine standing at the edge of a river. At first, there's only a small stream. Then another joins it. Then another. Then another. Each stream seems manageable by itself. But eventually, they become one powerful current. That's where humanity finds itself today. Not at the beginning of one technological revolution, but at the intersection of many. Researchers increasingly describe this moment as an era of convergence, not because every technology is identical, but because they're beginning to accelerate one another. Artificial intelligence helps scientists discover new medicines. Those medicines improve human health. Healthier people conduct more research. That research creates better computing hardware. Better hardware makes artificial intelligence even more powerful. The cycle repeats again and again. Think about that for a moment. Artificial intelligence doesn't exist in isolation. Neither does robotics, or biotechnology, or energy, or space exploration. Every breakthrough strengthens another. Let's begin with the one that most people are already talking about: artificial intelligence. Just a few years ago, AI was largely viewed as a useful software tool. Today, it's helping researchers analyze proteins, write software, translate languages, discover new materials, assist physicians, accelerate scientific research, generate realistic images, produce video, compose music, and increasingly act as a collaborator rather than simply a calculator. Notice something important. AI isn't replacing science. It's the accelerating science. Researchers have begun describing this as the possibility of AI-assisted discovery. Instead of replacing scientists, AI may be dramatically reducing the time needed to test ideas. Imagine trying to solve a puzzle with 1,000 pieces. Now imagine having an assistant capable of testing millions of possibilities, arrangements every second. The assistant doesn't automatically solve the puzzle, but it helps you eliminate dead ends much faster. That's one reason researchers believe AI could accelerate advances in biology, chemistry, engineering, and medicine. Now add robotics. For decades, robots excelled in controlled environments, factory floors, assembly lines, repetitive tasks. The world outside those environments was simply too unpredictable. Objects moved, lightning changed, people behaved unexpectedly. Robots struggled. Artificial intelligence beginning to change that. Vision systems help robots recognize objects. Language models help them integrate instructions. Machine learning helps them adapt. Robots give AI something it never had before: hands. Suddenly, intelligence isn't limited to answering questions. It can manipulate the physical world, move supplies, harvest crops, build structures, assist surgeons, move supplies, harvest crops, build structures, assist surgeons, support elderly patients, explore hazardous environments. The robot provides movement. The AI provides judgment. Individually, they're impressive. Together, they may become transformational. Then biochemistry enters the picture. For centuries, medicine focused primarily on treating disease after it appeared. Increasingly, medicine is becoming predictive, personalized, preventative. Artificial intelligence can help researchers search enormous biological databases. Patterns invisible to human investigators sometimes emerge through computational analysis. Drug discovery which once required years of painstaking work, may accelerate dramatically through AI-assisted screening and molecular modeling. This doesn't eliminate the need for laboratories, clinical trials, or scientific rigor. It changes the speed at which promising ideas can be explored. Then comes one of the most revolutionary technologies humanity has ever developed: CRISPR, gene editing. For the first time in history, scientists gained an extraordinary precision tool for modifying DNA. Its earliest successes focused on inherited diseases, certain cancers, and rare genetic disorders. Future possibilities remain subject to active scientific ethical debate. Disease resistance, personalized medicine, perhaps one day human enhancement. The science is advancing rapidly. The ethics, far less so. Now step back. Artificial intelligence accelerates biology. Biology improves human health. Healthier humans produce more innovation. Innovation creates better AI. The feedback loop grows stronger. Then add energy, because none of this happens without electricity. Artificial intelligence consumes enormous computational power. Robotics requires manufacturing. Biotechnology depends on laboratories. Data centers demand reliable energy. Every digital breakthrough quietly rests upon a physical foundation. For most of history, civilizations have been constrained by energy. More energy meant more industry, more transportation, more food production. Only now, energy powers intelligence itself. Researchers continue advancing solar technology, battery storage, and modernization. Advanced nuclear reactors, fusion research remains promising. Enough commercial timelines remain uncertain. The lesson isn't that one energy source will solve everything. It's that abundant, affordable, reliable energy expands what civilization becomes capable of achieving. Then comes quantum computing. Perhaps no technology receives more hype or more misunderstanding. Quantum computers are not simply faster computers. They've designed for very specific. Strike that. Quantum computers are not simply faster computers. They're designed for very specific classes of problems: chemistry, optimization, cryptography, material science. Many experts believe quantum computing could become transformative within those specialized domains, while leaving traditional computers to handle everything else. Again, not replacement, specialization. Notice the pattern emerging. Every technology strengthens another. Artificial intelligence accelerates biology. Biotechnology improves health. Health enables innovation. Innovation requires energy. Energy powers computing. Computing accelerates robotics. Robotics builds infrastructure. Infrastructure expands civilization. This isn't one revolution. It's a network of revolutions. Civilization scale feedback loop. A history teaches us something remarkable about feedback loops. Once they begin accelerating, change no longer feels gradual. It feels exponential. Which raises a fascinating question. If all of these technologies continue advancing together, what happens to work? Not just one profession, not just one industry, but the very idea of having a job. For more than 200 years, people have been asking the same question. What happens when machines take over jobs? It's a reasonable question. After all, history is filled with examples of machines replacing human labor. The steam engine replaced muscle. The tractor transformed farming. The assembly line changed manufacturing. The computer automated paperwork. The internet reshaped communication. Now, artificial intelligence and robotics appear ready to transform something entirely different: human thought. At least parts of it. And that's what makes this moment feel so different. For the first time in history, machines aren't only learning physical skills, they're learning cognitive ones. Writing, programming, research, translation, design, analysis, planning, conversations. Naturally, many people wonder, will there be any jobs left? History offers an interesting answer. Probably. But they may not look anything like today's jobs. Consider one of history's most famous examples, the automated teller machine. When ATMs began appearing, many experts predicted the end of bank tellers. After all, if a machine could dispense cash, what kept employing people to do it? It sounded logical, but something unexpected happened. ATMs made bank branches dramatically cheaper to operate. Banks opened more branches. More branches required more employees. The role of their day handing out cash, they spent more time helping customers, opening accounts, providing financial guidance, building relationships. The task disappeared. Let me go back real quick. I want to focus in on this for somebody. A lot of us are having the same question, and I want to say one thing: building relationships. A machine can't build relationships. I don't care how smart it is. I don't care who it is. It will never build the relationship human beings do for one another. So the tasks disappeared. The occupations evolved. History repeats the pattern remarkably often. Spreadsheets didn't eliminate accountants. Word processors didn't eliminate writers. GPS didn't eliminate delivery drivers. Email didn't eliminate communication. Instead, each technology automated part of the work while changing what humans contributed. Researchers study labor markets increasingly describe automation as task replacement rather than occupation replacement. Think about your own job. Almost every profession consists of dozens, sometimes hundreds, of individual tasks. Some require creativity. Others involve routine paperwork. Some demand empathy. Others require careful calculations. Some rely on experience. Others involve repetitive procedures. Artificial intelligence isn't replacing professionals at all at once. It's entering one task at a time. Imagine a lawyer. Much of the public imagines lawyers standing dramatically in courtrooms. In reality, many spend enormous amounts of time searching cases and law, reviewing documents, drafting contracts, preparing summaries. Artificial intelligence may dramatically accelerate many of those tasks, but clients still need trust, judgment, strategy, negotiation, ethical advice, courtroom advocacy. The work changes, not necessarily the profession. The same pattern appears across medicine. Doctors increasingly use AI to analyze medical images, search research literature, draft clinical documentation, identify possible diagnosis. But patients don't simply need information. They need explanations, comfort, shared decision-making, clinical judgment, trust. Again, tasks change, the occupation evolves. Programmers, teachers, architects, financial analysis, engineers, designers, scientists, nearly every knowledge profession is beginning to experience the same transformation. Routine cognitive work becomes cheaper. Human judgment becomes more valuable. But history also teaches us something else. Transformations are rarely painless, while new opportunities emerge. Transformations awfully rarely painless. While new opportunities emerge, old ones often disappear. Communities built around declining industries experience disruption. Workers require retraining. Education systems struggle to keep pace. Creates wealth. It doesn't automatically distribute it. And that's where the conversation becomes economic. Who owns the robots? Who owns the AI? Who owns the data centers? Who owns the computing infrastructure? Imagine two possible futures. In the first, automation creates extraordinary productivity. Goods become cheaper. Healthcare improves. Energy becomes abundant. Governments redesign economic systems. Education becomes lifelong. People spend more time creating, learning, raising families, building communities, and solving problems. People spend more time creating, learning, raising families, building communities, and solving problems. Technology becomes a force multiplier for human nourishing. Flourishing. Strike that. Education becomes lifelong. People spend more time creating, learning, raising families, building communities, and solving problems. Technology becomes a force multiplier for human flourishing. Now imagine another future. Automation creates enormous wealth, but that wealth becomes concentrated amongst a small number of companies, investors, and governments. Productivity soars, employment declines, opportunity narrows, inequality grows, political instability follows. Which future is correct? Perhaps neither. Most economists expect something more complicated. History usually produces hybrids. Now, industries emerge, others shrink. Some governments expand social safety nets. Others emphasize market adaptation. Policies evolve, cultures respond differently. No single blueprint fits every society. This is why universal basic income has become such a prominent topic. Many people think UBI is simply a political debate. It's actually an economic question. If machines eventually produce extraordinary wealth, how should that wealth be distributed? Some argue direct cash payments. Others propose negative income taxes. Public dividends, guaranteed services, shorter work weeks, expanded education, worker ownership. There isn't one universally accepted solution because the future depends on questions nobody can answer with certainty. How fast will automation arrive? Which occupations will transform first? How productive will AI become? Who will own the infrastructure? History offers clues, not certainty. When there's another question, one we don't ask nearly often enough. If intelligence becomes increasingly inexpensive, what becomes valuable? Imagine a world where anyone can instantly generate reports, software, images, legal drafts, financial analysis, lesson plans, and business proposal. Knowledge itself becomes abundant. What becomes scarce? Trust, leadership, originality, ethics, judgment, wisdom, the ability to inspire, the ability to unite people, the courage to make difficult decisions when no algorithm has a perfect answer. Throughout history, whenever something becomes abundant, its value usually fails. When books become inexpensive, memorization, entire libraries become less important. When calculators became common, mental arithmetic became less valuable. When search engines arrived, remembering isolated facts mattered less than knowing how to evaluate information. Artificial intelligence may trigger the largest shift yet. Routine intelligence becomes abundant. Human wisdom becomes increasingly precious, which leads to an even deeper question. If machines transform work, what happens to civilization itself? Because jobs don't exist in isolation. They depend on something far more fundamental. Energy, water, food, infrastructure, the invisible systems that make every civilization possible. Imagine trying to explain the Roman Empire without mentioning roads, or ancient Egypt without mentioning the Nile River, or the Industrial Revolution without mentioning coal. You can't, because every civilization, no matter how advanced, is ultimately built on physical systems. We tend to think history is shaped. Hey everybody, I wanted to sit down with you today and talk about something we've been working on behind the scenes for quite a while now. First, I want to thank you. Whether you've been here from the beginning or you just found the channel recently, I want you to know that I genuinely appreciate every single one of you. Every comment, every conversation, every suggestion, every word of encouragement has helped shape what Resilience Radio is becoming. This isn't just my channel anymore. It's about a community. And because of that, I wanted you to hear these changes directly from me. Over the last several months, we've been doing something a little unusual. We've been studying our analytics almost obsessively. Not just YouTube analytics, but the analytics coming from Naomi, the AI production system we've been building from the ground up. We've been asking questions like, what videos do people come here for? What keeps people watching? What topics naturally fit together? And what happens when we mix very little types of content on the same channel? After looking at thousands of data points, we came to one conclusion. It's time to let each series become a very best version of itself. So today, I'm excited to announce that Rabbit Holes is becoming its own dedicated YouTube channel. Rabbit Holes deserves its own home. It's where we dive into mysteries, history, unsolved questions, and rabbit holes. Strange events, forgotten stories, and all of those fascinating topics that make us lose track of time. By giving Rabbit Holes its own channel, YouTube can better understand who those videos are for. Our AI can learn from much cleaner data, and we can build something truly special for people who love those deep dives. Resilience Radio will continue doing what it has always meant to do, help people understand themselves through psychology,
You pushed me down, thought I'd stay on the ground, counting me out like the numbers didn't matter. But pressure builds diamonds in the dark, and I've been sharpening my edge in the chatter. Every scar turned into strategy, every setback fueled my clarity. I took the hits, learned the game, turned my losses into flame. Now I'm coming back strong and you'll remember my name. I'm rising through the fire.